Hey guys, my name is Rita and welcome to my channel. Today we're reviewing the full Colourpop x Twilight collection. I've had this sitting around my room for months, but I was just scared that I wouldn't do it justice, so I literally didn't film it, which makes no sense. I'm gonna go off on a bit of a tangent here, but I'm gonna leave timestamps in case you want to skip it, so if you do want to skip it, please fast forward to this time right here. Do you know that meme that's like still a better love story than Twilight? Well, to me, there's like literally no better love story than Twilight. It all started when I was 11. My cousin was having a birthday party. We went to the movies to see the film. I had never heard of it before. Not the books, not the movie. Like, I was just going because she wanted to go. And even though I was a child, I remember leaving feeling like my whole entire world had changed. From then on, I bought all the books. Must have read them at least 10 times. I bought the DVDs and I played them every night when I went to sleep. Like, I literally just watched the movie every night for years. The wall behind you used to have at least 30 posters of the movie because they would come out in the teen magazines and I would buy them all and I would just put them all on my wall. So yeah, I was one of those people. And even 16 years later, I still have a marathon of the movie. I just watched it last week, all of it, all 5 movies, as I was preparing for this video. But yes, this is all to say that I'm a fan of everything from the franchise to the movies to the books to everything. Like, I literally just am a fan. So when this collection came out, obviously I had to buy all of it. Even if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I still would have bought it all. It's just one of those things that I want to keep for a very long time. So yeah, I am very excited to finally dive into this. So I bought the whole collection and it was $99. But apparently if you buy it separately, it's $119, so there was a savings there. Because I finally have an excuse to wear it, I am wearing the Rosalie Cullen crest necklace. It's a replica that I bought a long time ago, but I never really wore it. But I liked looking at it. It was enough for me. And on my finger, I am wearing a replica of Bella's engagement ring. So let's take a look at the collection. This is the Soul Shimmering Dry Body Oil in the shade Like Diamonds.
It's like diamonds.
Bella says he looks beautiful, and I personally believe it, so this makes absolute sense. Here it is up close. It's got very fine glitters and it honestly really does look like diamonds. And I'm swatching it on the back of my hand. Here's how it looks like under the studio lights. It's honestly so pretty. I can finally have killer skin.
This is the skin of a killer, Bella.
I don't tend to use body oils every day, but this would be nice on a beach day. Moving on to the makeup, let's first take a look at the eyeliners. Here's a close-up of the box and the tube. The packaging is fairly simple, but it has a few phrases from the movie written on it. And here's a close-up of the applicator. This first shade is the shade Coven. It may just look like a black, but it actually has tiny, small glitter specks. This next shade is called Forever, and I don't know what's going on with this shade. It's quite watery compared to the last eyeliner. The last eyeliner swatched fine, but this one, I've shaken it and everything, and it's coming out super watery. Yeah, I've done 2 lines and I still have the same problem. Like, I've shaken this completely and it's still coming out super watery, so that's disappointing. It's almost like broken apart, but it's only been 4 months since I've had it. And it shouldn't be expired now. Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna be able to swatch this, which is very disappointing. I was thinking of using this in today's look and now I can't. Maybe I'll try repurchasing it, see if I have better luck. This shouldn't be happening. And finally, we have the shade Vampire. This was a bit watery too, but not nearly as watery as the green. I feel like with a couple layers, we can build this to be opaque enough. Not the greatest start, but I'm hoping we can turn this around and everything else is gonna be good. Next up, let's do the highlighters. These are the 2 highlighters that come in the collection. This one is the shade Meadow. How I would best describe Meadow, it's like a iridescent lilac with specks of orange and gold. They named this shade after the meadow that they go to in every single movie, and I do think this does it justice. It will look super pretty on the cheek. I'm not exactly sure if I'm gonna use this today, but I gotta use it sometime. And this one is called Vampire Skin. This one is a straight up silver and it's very intense. I do think they did a good job with the highlighting choices, and luckily no problems with the formula thus far. Next up, the lip oils. The first one is Team Jacob, and here's what the tube looks like. I personally was never Team Jacob, but I gotta admit that this is a pretty shade. Here's a swatch of it. It's just got a hint of black with sparkles on it, and I just realized that they went with black because Jacob's last name is Jacob Black. the details. Next up we have Belle's, which is what Charlie calls Bella all the time. Here it is on the inside. It's a very bloody red. Here's a swatch of it. As you can see, it only has like a hint of red, no sparkle. But the red does make sense because Bella has wanted to be a vampire from day one.
I know what I want.
And lastly, we have Team Edward, which is my team. Here it is on the inside. It's a very, very dark blue, but it's still blue nonetheless. And here's a swatch of Team Edward. It's a very dark blue with sparkles, just like Team Jacob. Personally, lip oils wouldn't have been my first choice for this collection. I would have loved to see like bullet lipsticks. These are all pretty, don't get me wrong, but barely any color to it. Color-wise, I do think that they did a great job. And here we have the thing that I'm most excited about, as usual. This right here is the Twilight eyeshadow palette. It's got a sleeve and then you just push it out. And here it is inside in all its glory. On the back you have all the shade names. And here it is on the inside, and honestly this makes me so happy. I kind of want to cry. It has no mirror, but what it does have is a picture of them in the meadow. And here's the full color story. I gotta say, I know that some people were disappointed by the shade choices that Colourpop made, but I am not one of those people. I definitely do think that this completely fits the first film. If you've seen it 500,000 times like I have, you will have noticed that the first film has a bluish tone to it throughout the whole film. Naturally, all these shades make sense. I definitely do think, and I really hope that this is true, that the reason that they didn't add red or other warmer shades is because they're saving it for a different collection for the next movie, like New Moon or something. I really do hope that they make collections for every single book at least, because it would make sense. And they do have a habit of continuing franchises, so Colourpop, if you ever stumble across this video, please just make collections for all the books. Please. I mean, how could you not like this? Cutting to Futurita for the swatches.
You guys, I am so impressed with this palette. Everything swatched great. There were so many different formulas for the shimmers. I was super impressed. I was not expecting it to perform as well as it did and to have as much variety. So besides the color story, I love everything about this palette. It did not disappoint.
Alright you guys, that was it for the collection, and honestly, apart from the consistency of the green liner, I am happy with everything so far. This is why I always buy makeup collections of the things that I love the most, because it just makes me genuinely happy. It's like a dose of serotonin. But of course the video doesn't end here, because now we get to put all this on our face. Okay, so first up, let's start with the eyes. I'm gonna take the shade Irrevocably and start building it on the outer corner. There's a bit of fallout, but I'm hoping that I can just wipe it away. I mean, it sort of worked. The shade itself is a little patchy, but I'm gonna build it and hopefully that goes away. To blend the edges, I'm adding a little bit of the shade Unconditionally, blending right on top of the dark blue. I'm gonna save the shimmers for last, so for now, on the bottom lid, I'm gonna add a little bit of the shade Impossibly Fast. Right on my outer corner. I'm gonna leave the very center of the lower eye blank, and for the inner part, I'm gonna take the shade 17. Now for the shimmers, I'm gonna take the shade Edward on the very center that I'm dying to use. This shade definitely has the Super Shock Shadow formula. This is so pretty. I have never seen a shade like this in my life, and I love it. Last minute, I've decided I'm gonna add the shade Unconditionally also on my inner corner, just on this inner part right here. And for the inner corner, I'm taking the shade Prom Night, adding it right in the spot. It is a dry formula in comparison to the shade Edward, but it does work. Under my brow bone, I'm gonna take the shade Ice Cold, adding it above the blue shadow. And lastly, I'm taking the shade Immortal on the spot that we left blank. This eyeshadow is very interesting. It's more so of a hybrid of a glitter. And as a last step, I'm just gonna add a little bit of the first blue that we added beforehand on this inner corner to reinforce it. And this is it for the eyeshadow. I love it. I'll save it for the final thoughts, but if you want this, buy this. Now, like I said, I wanted to use the green eyeliner with this look, but I don't think that's gonna work, sorry. Or maybe it can. You know what? I'm gonna try. And if it doesn't work out, I'm just gonna go over with a black. You know what? I'm gonna semi-eat my words about this. Thing is, it performed better than the swatches. I was able to create a wing that's sort of opaque, but it's now burning my eyes, so know that I recommend this shade. Hoping the other ones perform fine. I need to test them out, but this one, I think I'm gonna have to say no, even though it did kind of work in the end. Alright, I finished the eyes, added mascara and blush, and now it's time for the highlighter. Hopefully the brush picks it up. I think I added too much. Also adding a little bit on my nose, on my temples. And lastly, we're adding the lip oil. Firstly, just gonna line my lips, and I'm adding the shade Team Edward on top. And here's the final look. I'm also adding how it looks like on my phone so that you can see everything up close. Alright guys, I don't even know where to start. Let's go by order. So firstly, the palette. I love the look I came up with. There was a little bit of patchiness, but nothing that couldn't be fixed. The eyeshadows are so pretty, and I'm in love with the shade Edward. It is like this silver with holographic glitter. It's something I have never seen in a palette before. So I do feel like Colourpop outdid themselves, and I do agree with this color story. So yes, super recommend this, 10 out of 10. The eyeliners. So far I've only tried the green one, and like I said, worked better than I expected, but it definitely wasn't worth the hassle. Like, I had to build this up 5 times to get the pigment to be opaque enough that it would cover my skin. It kept melting off or something. Like, I definitely feel like there's something off with this formula. I have other eyeliners in this format from Colourpop, and they weren't as bad as this, so I am hopeful that the other 2 shades perform better because they seem to swatch better. But yeah, this one was a letdown for me, unfortunately. Like, I really wanted to like this, but as far as performance goes, I don't recommend it. The highlighters swatched well, and I will recommend both, even though I only tried Vampire Skin. I already know the other one is going to perform equally as well, so if you want these, definitely grab them. And in regards to the lip oils, definitely recommend them too. It's the standard Colourpop formula when it comes to lip oils. Barely feels like anything, but it's super hydrating, definitely thinner than the gloss. The color Edward did darken ever so slightly my lip liner, so it wasn't extreme like I was expecting, but it definitely did give it more of a cool tone. So yeah, I really did like this shade, and I definitely have to try the other ones.
Editing Rita here. I forgot to mention, but I do also recommend the shimmering body oil. It doesn't feel sticky, and it does feel very hydrating, so if you do want body oils and you want to shine like freaking Edward Cullen, just get this.
Overall, this collection was everything to me. It was so nostalgic, and it definitely warmed my heart to just sit here and play with it. Definitely gonna have fun in editing, just adding scenes from the movie throughout this. So yeah, Colourpop, again, if you ever see this, please make collections for the other 3 movies. I will buy them all. Also, before you leave, please don't forget to subscribe, because I would love having you. And if you can, please also leave a like and say hi. But yeah, that is sadly everything from me for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye!